Okay, so today we're going to learn how to do the long tail cast on. First, what you're going to want to do is you're obviously going to want to have your needles and yarn ready. That's kind of a given. So what we first do when we're doing the long tail cast on is using your left hand, you're going to grab, this here is going to be your tail, if you will. So I like to pinch, I don't know, maybe I'll leave that much of a tail. Since I'm using super bulky yarn for this, and I want to cast on, let's say 20 stitches to start. What I normally do is I will keep this pinched, but I'll take the working yarn that's attached to my ball here, and I'll go like this, and I'll do it about my forearm length, okay? So I'll do 1 for about 10 stitches and 2 for about 20 stitches. So now this is what I'm gonna use. And it's easy because if you make a mistake, especially when you're casting on, you can always just pull it off the needles and start over. So don't worry if you mess up the first time. This also took me probably about 10 times to learn it. It takes a while, but that's okay. Practice makes perfect, right? So 1, 2, this becomes my new pinchable spot. Here's what we're gonna do. Now for the hand motion you're gonna wanna use is you're gonna wanna go like this. This is gonna be the motion you're doing. You're gonna drape it over top of your thumb and your index finger. So this is where our tail is, and this is our working yarn. So now I'm gonna grab these and I'm gonna just go boop, almost like you got like a little finger water gun or something. So that's what we got here. You're gonna wanna leave it in motion. Make sure you don't get your working yarn confused with your tail. Then you're gonna wanna grab your needle, and this is gonna be the hand motion, okay? Right here. So what we're gonna do to start is we're gonna put this needle underneath the yarn that's bridged between our thumb and our index finger. You're gonna wanna hold it here, your right hand index finger, holding the yarn in place. You can loosen your grip a bit so that your cast on stitches aren't too tight. You can also pull back too, and this will help make it nice and loose for your first time. So here, I'm gonna show it from a couple different ways. So that's what your hand looks like in there, okay? So here we go. We're gonna cast on our first. When you go to start your long tail cast on, you'll be starting with 2 stitches, and then everything subsequent to that is just 1 stitch. You'll see what I mean in a second, okay? So now you're gonna go back, turn it, pick up this spot here that I'm flicking with the needle, okay? This spot, turn your finger, you're gonna pick right here, and then you're gonna go through. I'll do that again nice and slow, okay? So, hold it in place, turn, pick up the thumb, pick up the index finger, and go through the thumb, okay? Through the thumb. That's 2 stitches right there. 1, 2. Some people or some videos you might see when they do a long tail cast on, they might have you do a slip stitch first. I don't do that. This is just how I do it. It gives you your first 2 stitches and then you keep going. So we've got 2. You can also drop if you need to, and then just pick it back up. Just make sure you've got your 3 fingers here, holding onto the bottom, and it's draped over top as such. So now, I always hold these in place just for security. Do it again. Pick up the thumb, pick up the index, through the thumb. Now we've got 3 stitches. Same thing, pick up the thumb, pick up the index, through the thumb, pull. You don't have to pull it super tight. I find, especially in the beginning, you're gonna have the instinct for whatever reason to like really tighten it. You don't need to do that. That was my mistake in the beginning, was making my cast on stitches way too tight. So just remember to keep it natural. You don't have to pull. You pull it so that it's close to the needle, but you don't need to pull it super tight, okay? Through the thumb, through the index, and then through again. So now let's speed it up just a little bit. Pull just the natural amount. Keep going. Now I find when you have your fingers here holding, it starts to get bunched up. So you might want to take a break and then just like spread your needles out. Give them some space to breathe. So how many do we got so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 8 and we wanted to do 20, okay? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. See, give them some space to breathe. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And you got your tail. So I did overestimate quite a bit, and that's okay, because you can always chop your tail if you don't need that much hanging off. I leave it until the end though. You never know if you need it to like seam up a piece or whatever. So don't worry about your tail. Ignore that completely. But now you've just cast on your first 20 stitches. This is also a good spot to start if you want to start with like a basic scarf or something along those lines. I find if you're using a super bulky yarn and you cast on about 20 stitches, 22 or 24, something nice and even, that's a good width for your first like blanket scarf if you will. And then in the next video, I'll show you how to do the knit stitch. And then after that, the purl stitch. And then we'll just keep on going. So make sure you're subscribed so that you don't miss out if you want to learn how to knit. Thank you for watching.